Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and I got some good news. The Raiders, they're bringing in Nick Kwiatkoski, linebacker here. We know it was a major need for this team, and this is a player that I've talked about a few times now on the Raiders Report. So what exactly are the Raiders going to get in a player in Nick Kwiatkoski? Well, you're going to get a very hardworking player. So Ian Rappaport tweeted out that the Raiders, they're signing Kwiatkoski. Remember, this is just the tampering period, so they are going to sign him once it can be official. That is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you that might not have Twitter, Kwiatkoski, my man, he tweeted out a picture of the Raiders, and he tweeted out a picture of the new stadium here, which I absolutely loved. And we do have a picture of that, and here it is. And I think it's one of those things where when he put this out, I got super excited. And I think all the good things that could have happened here with Kwiatkoski are the fact that he has this, huge upside. He is a very quick learner. And all around, I'm very excited to see the Raiders were able to get this player who is a very good linebacker, because what you're going to get, and I mean, let's just soak in this beautiful Las Vegas stadium. And again, we are live because the Raiders, they are going to sign Nick Kwiatkoski. He is a free agent linebacker at the age of 26. And I think about all the things that this guy is going to be able to bring to this team. He's going to offer some extra depth. He's going to offer a lot of experience. He has only played in 22 games, but I do think that he filled in very nicely, for the Bears last season. So, again, the Raiders, they've agreed to a deal with Kwiatkoski, and he posted this photo on his Twitter. And this is the photo, obviously, of the new stadium here for Las Vegas. If you guys want to weigh in on your reaction to the Raiders going out and agreeing to getting Kwiatkoski, throw it in the comments section. So he does have this huge upside. I think he's going to be playing the middle linebacker, inside linebacker role for this team. He did play for a little bit of a different scheme with the Chicago Bears. Look for him to be, I think, that middle linebacker on our team. And one of the things that I loved about him, he's a very hard-working player. And I think when you look at what he could bring and the upside that he could potentially have for us, that's one of the reasons why I said that the Raiders should go out and target Nick Kwiatkoski. So the Raiders, they got linebacker Nick Kwiatkoski. He played for the Bears last season. Yes, he has only 22 career starts, but he was one of the top free agent linebackers that I wanted this team to go out and get. There is no doubt that getting depth and getting experience at this position is very important. And normally, the Raiders, I think we can all agree, have kind of put it on the back burner. Well, luckily, this organization, this defense, now has a pretty solid player. And what I want every single person that's watching the Raiders Report to do is go look at this guy's film. Because if you want a player who's going to be a solid defender in the middle of your defense, yes, I do think he at times lacks a little bit of the ability to cover like other players like Corey Littleton, fingers crossed there. But I do think that he's going to be a solid player who, at age 26, is going to be able to learn pretty quickly. So this all came down because Kwiatkoski, he tweeted out this picture of the Raiders' new stadium. And I love cryptic tweets, but I mean, this isn't all that cryptic. And then some other past players, were saying, hey, man, good luck. Wish you nothing but the best. And I think we could all agree. Fills a big need, a solid player, a young player. And I think personally it's going to come at a pretty inexpensive cost. So I want your one-word reaction to the Raiders signing Nick Kwiatkoski. Good. Reliable. Because I think that's what you're going to get in a player like this. So the Bears, they decided to stick with Danny Trevathan, who they signed to a 3-year, $21 million deal, instead of bringing back Kwiatkoski. My only thing there is I thought that he was going to get maybe like $4 or $5 million on the open market. With the Bears sticking with Trevathan, it almost makes me wonder if the Raiders are going to have to pay Kwiatkoski a little bit more, because maybe he was asking for a little bit more on the open market, considering the fact that he was coming off a pretty solid year. So give me your one-word reactions in the comments section below, and we'll give some shout-outs to some of the peeps that are watching us live here on YouTube. So appreciate everyone who's got the notifications turned on. And this is, again, the perfect time of the year that you need to be subscribed to the channel and that you need to have those notifications turned on so you know exactly when we go live. So I'm seeing a lot of okay, solid, grinder. Grinder is a great word. Somebody said mediocre. I won't go that far. I think Nick is a much better player than just mediocre. Just the beginning. Seeing, again, Gucci from Rick Hernandez. Again, make sure you got those noties turned on and make sure you're subscribed. So let's look at some numbers from the past 4 years. He has only 22 career starts, so there is some inexperience. But the one thing that I'll say is watch him when he had to first fill in for Trevathan last year, and then watch him by the end of the season. He was picking up defenses a lot quicker. You can tell that he's a very, very smart player. You can tell that he's learning very quickly. But I saw somebody say the one-word reaction to Groot and Grinder. You're 100% right. And I think his upside is very high. Like, he has a lot of athletic ability. Again, he's not the best coverage linebacker, but if you're looking for somebody who can play in the middle, who can wrap up somebody when they come in through, that's what you're going to get with Kwiatkoski. So how about this? This is what it looked like before the signing. We had Will Compton, going to be a free agent. We know that we've already moved on from Tahir Whitehead. And then I still kind of think that Vontaze Burfict, he's not the player that's going to be staying here because of some of the, we'll say, NFL being after him. So there is no doubt when you add a player of Kwiatkoski's caliber, and again, if you guys have watched the show before, you'll know, and this actually won't be the first time that you've seen this graphic. So I put this graphic on the show last week because I said if they go out and get him, this is what it's going to look like. I think he's going to be a middle linebacker for this team. And I saw somebody say Brian Urlacher 2.0. That's a little bit of a stretch for me. But to the 687 people watching us live right now on the Raiders Report, you're going to get a solid player who's going to show up every single day. And I don't know if he's going to wear a C on his chest, but for somebody who's played in only 22 career games, for somebody who can learn as quickly as he can, for somebody who's going to be able to pick up this defense, you're going to see a great drastic change in some of the players that we go out and get. So who exactly is Nick Kwiatkoski besides an absolute mouthful to say? He's a solid pass rusher, decent in coverage, and he's pretty solid also against defending the run. So one of the biggest weaknesses for this team, I get it. We had 32 sacks last year, but I still think we need some linebackers who are able to get after the quarterback. It is one of the reasons why we decided to move on from Tahir Whitehead and save the 6.25. Now, the relative inexperience might worry some people, but I'll look at it this way. He had 76 tackles. You could argue he's one of the best linebackers on that Bears team last year. I'll say he's one of the top linebackers in all of free agency in terms of all-around player. But his upside, it's there. You can see the athletic ability. And since he came out of West Virginia, he has slowly gotten better. And every single time that he's needed to fill in for this Bears defense, he's done pretty well. And I think with Paul Gunther hopefully stepping up, hopefully Rod Marinelli can get this defensive line going, and just all around, our defense needs to be improved. And I think this is a player that you can go out and get. Plus, this also is going to give us the ability to go out and maybe get a bigger linebacker, maybe go out and get a better player. I like Kwiatkoski a lot. He was in my top 5 for top linebackers the Raiders should target. So for me, well, I won't give you my grade quite yet. I'm going to ask you. So the Raiders signing Nick Kwiatkoski, I want you to type in your grades here to the 750 people watching us live on YouTube. I appreciate you. If you don't watch this live, again, turn on your notifications because we're going to be going live the entire offseason. During free agency, every single day, I'm going to be pumping out videos for y'all. And make sure that you guys subscribe. So we'll give some shout-outs here. I'm seeing some Bs. Seeing a lot of Bs from Roberto. Seeing Rossi Biddle, Kyrie Jr., Let's see, Alpha Raider says C. Hanzo says C+. For me, it's a B grade, and I give it a B grade because I think it's a high upside play that could be an A grade. Don't be surprised if next year we're like, man, Nick Kwiatkoski was an absolute stud. Also, I could say don't be surprised if you're like, he's a good player, but he's not the player that, maybe some of us were hoping for. So, again, get your grades in here for the Raiders going out and getting Kwiatkoski. And while you're doing that, okay, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to hit the subscribe button. I am this close to getting to 40K subscribers. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do yet once I hit 40K, but we're going to celebrate together. I know I don't have my Raiders shirt on. For that, I am sorry. We are also live on our main Chat Sports channel as well. So as soon as I saw the tweet from Kwiatkoski, I was like, man, I got to get on the Raiders report, and now I'm here live. But we're going to be doing live videos. We're going to be doing daily videos, and this is the time of the year to get those noties turned on. The link is below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. So we see some comments rolling in here from Kevin Rogers. It's an A. He has fresh legs. That's definitely a good way to look at it, considering the fact that he has only played in 22 career games. But I want people to go look at his film, because you can see that this kid is raw, but you can also see that he has that upside. We're going to Vegas. It's very cliche to say, but I think that the Raiders are still targeting some other top-name free agent linebackers. And if we can get Kwiatkoski plus another guy, plus maybe a top cornerback, I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm seeing a question rolling in here now from Mac. Looks like we got one coming in from Mac. Corey Littleton's still an option. Yes, at this moment, while I'm recording this video, Corey Littleton is an option. Corey Littleton is my #1 target in terms of free agent linebackers. He was in my top 3 of overall top free agent targets. Now technically top 2. But now when I look at Kwiatkoski, a solid player, you put him and Littleton together, oh my lord, I would totally be on board for that. Let's go to this next question, and make sure that you're using #Raiders, because I want every single person to react to the news that the Raiders, they're bringing in linebacker Nick Kwiatkoski. So this one's from Eduardo Torres. Now we need to sign Littleton and draft Murray at 19. I think if we were to do that, I think Corey Littleton is going to get paid. I think he's probably going to be around that $13-14 million range. But if we bring in Kwiatkoski, you bring in Littleton, I don't know then if I necessarily would be as on board for going out and getting Kenneth Murray at 19. I still think that the Raiders have big needs, and I don't know about you, I'm a little bit bitter that all it took to get DeAndre Hopkins was basically a second-round pick, because I tweeted out that the Raiders should go out and at least make a call. If the phone call was just a second-rounder, heck, I would have traded, honestly, a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. Not the 12, but the 19. Eduardo, appreciate the question. And continue to get #Raiders to get your questions here on our show. Let's go to Diesel Power. Okay. Picture of Stewie. Interesting. I know he was terrible last year, but what do you think of his Xavier Rhodes? So, Diesel, you're not the first person to ask me. Xavier Rhodes to me would be like trying to run a gas car with diesel. It might sound like it might work, but I just don't think it does. If that was a horrible analogy, I'm sorry. I try to think of it off the top of my head. Xavier Rhodes is just a name, okay? Last year, I get it. He made the Pro Bowl, but he wasn't really all that good last season. I mean, let's just get one thing straight. Yes, the Vikings can't really hang on to him because they don't have any cap space, but, like, at the end of the day, I want players who are younger and who are going to help this team in the long haul. Xavier Rhodes at this point in time is not that type of player. I want to go in other directions. Speaking of going in other directions, let's go to my man, John Brubaker, who needs to get a pick. John, are you a loyal watcher, my man? All right, great to get a solid acquisition early in the game. All right, you ready? Everyone, I want every single person to type Raiders because I'm going to scream Raiders so Studio A all the way in the other building can freaking hear us. You ready? Raiders! Every single person. Let's go. Because this is a good, solid acquisition. Yes, it is not a big-time splash like a Corey Littleton, like a Joe Schobert, but what is a need? We had a need at linebacker. We went out and got Kwiatkoski. We cut bait with Tahir Whitehead because I liked Whitehead. He was a good leader, but Kwiatkoski, I'm telling you right now, is going to be a leader in that locker room. Yes, he's a little bit inexperienced, but the 26-year-old, go watch the film. One more time here. You all ready? We're going to give a Raiders, so I want everyone type in Raiders. Let me get loose. If I blow out my voice, I am sorry to the 820 people watching, but that's what I want in the comments. 3, 2, 1, Raiders! Yo, Raider Nation, I love you, and I'm sorry I don't got any clothes on, or I don't have any Raider clothes on. I do feel a little bit naked. We were doing a live show over on our main Chat Sports channel. Go check it out. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're going over everything over there, not just Raiders content. What up, Ruben? Ruben, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone who's got those noties on, and I appreciate everyone who is subscribed, because the last time I checked, only like 53% of my viewers are subscribers. So if you think that you are subscribed, double check, click that. It helps me out a lot. I want to get to 40K, and make sure that you got those notifications turned on so you know exactly when I go live. Okay? Exactly when I go live. The Raiders, they're going to be bringing in linebacker Nick Kwiatkoski. So this is a good signing for them. They needed to bring in players at that position. And when I think about everything that could have happened here for this organization, you still need to add some more talent. So this was tweeted out by Ian Rappaport that the Raiders are signing Kwiatkoski. Remember, you technically can't sign anyone until March 18th, Wednesday, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So what happened basically was Kwiatkoski, he just tweeted out a picture of the Raiders' new stadium, or hopefully what it's going to look like. And the black hole is beautiful, but as soon as he tweeted that out, I'll show you here in a sec what it looked like. The entire nation went absolutely insane. And I think about what this team needs. This team needs to get a new stadium. Hopefully it gets going. Hopefully the Gobert, we're not allowed to say, what YouTube doesn't let us, so we call it the Gobert, kind of ditches it, and we can get this stadium up and built. But the Raiders going out and bringing in Nick Kwiatkoski of the Bears is a major, major plus for this team. Not only does it bring you a player who's going to give it his all on every single down, not only does it give you depth at a position that you really need, I think it also helps you out in the draft a little bit, because now, if you go out and get another player in free agency, you kind of make teams wonder what you're going to do in the draft. And I know Mayock, I know Gruden, they don't like to show their hand. So maybe going out and getting a player who has gotten better every single year that he's been in the league is a good sign. And at age 26, he filled in great for Trevathan. It'll be interesting to see what he gets. I anticipate probably around 7-8 mil. At least that's what I would have given him. And I say that because the Bears decided to keep Danny Trevathan at 3 years, 21 mil, instead of maybe bringing back Kwiatkoski. And I think the reason they did that is because Kwiatkoski is probably going to cost, just a little bit more. So everyone watching right now, I want you to let me know, what is your one-word reaction to the Raiders agreeing to a deal with Nick Kwiatkoski? I tried to spell this name at least 10 times, and I don't know if I could get it right a single time. So bear with me. So I want your one-word reactions. We'll give some shout-outs here to the over, 800 people watching. I see the super chat. We'll get to it in a second, my man. I got depth. It's a great one from Xavier Charles. Dale Webb says amazing. Kevin Rogers is going to go fresh. Seeing Koo from 559 Raider. What's up, my man? Appreciate you watching. Got an awesome in there. Somebody said uninspired. I don't like that. I think you're just uninspired because it's not a big name. I think a lot of people might have said the exact same thing about Max Crosby. I'm not comparing Kwiatkoski and Crosby to the same. They're not the same, but they are the players that are going to bend. They're the players that are going to do their best every single play, and they're a player that's going to help build this team for the long haul. That's what I want in my Raiders. So what's your one-word reaction? Solid, surprise, nice, decent. It wasn't a surprise to me. I had Kwiatkoski as one of my top targets for this team. So for some of you who are like, wait a minute, who exactly is Kwiatkoski besides just a tongue twister or a name that Mitch is never going to be able to spell? Well, he's a solid pass rusher. And again, I want you to go look at the film, because you're not only getting a linebacker who can play the inside, and yes, I do anticipate him bouncing around from middle linebacker. You could even see him at outside linebacker. But he's able to get after the quarterback. And one of the reasons this team decided to move on from Tahir Whitehead was, yes, Whitehead was a great leader, but he was only a tackler. With Kwiatkoski, you're going to be able to get after the quarterback, and the Raiders had 32 sacks last year, 23rd in the NFL. It was an improvement from 2018 where they had only 13th and ranked dead last. But you need to be able to find players that can do more, and I know that's something that Mike Mayock wants. So he's decent in coverage. We're probably still going to be going out looking for a coverage linebacker, Corey Littleton, fingers crossed. But he can defend the run, and he can get after the quarterback. That's great. The inexperience does worry me a little bit. I'll be honest, that's how I am on these shows with y'all. But the fact that he has played in only 22 career games, the fact that he has gotten better and he has learned the defenses that he's played in that quickly, make me think that he does have some high upside. And when I go back and look at how he filled in for Danny Trevathan, when I go look at how he filled in for that Bears defense, a defense that was one of the best in the league, and he was one of the best players on that defense. That is important. And at age only 26, somebody that is still learning the position a little bit, it inspires me to say, I'm glad that the Raiders took a chance. And I am good with that. I am happy with that. And yes, 76 tackles is a solid number, but he's forcing turnovers. He's getting sacks. He's getting after the quarterback. He's pressuring the quarterback. And I will say this, like I said that he's okay in coverage. He is a bigger upgrade in coverage than Tahir Whitehead ever was. Now, I don't think that he is a player up to the level of a Joe Schobert. I don't think he's up to the level, obviously, as a Corey Littleton. And I still have my fingers crossed that maybe we go out and knock on the door of a player, maybe like a Josh Bynes or a Kyle Van Noy. But going out and getting a player like Kwiatkoski, I think you don't have to super overpay him, which then leaves you the ability to spend some of that extra cap space. And in terms of cap space, the Raiders right now, when free agency started, had $57.2 million. That's 9th in the NFL. Plus, they have 2 draft picks in the first round, 3 in the third. They have a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick. Like, the Raiders have a lot of draft capital. They're doing the right things, and now that they're building depth. And they needed to build depth because before this is what they were dealing with. And I don't expect them to bring back Vontaze Burfict because I think the NFL is kind of, going to be looking at him. And one more bad hit, he's got to go. Will Compton, free agent, he's not going to come back. Kyle Wilber is going to test the market. And out of all these players, I mean, the only one that I would actually consider to maybe be a starter on any other NFL team, Morrow, maybe Markel Lee. So now you insert Kwiatkoski as the middle linebacker. And for those of you that are subscribed to the Raiders Report, this is not the first time that you've seen this graphic. I showed this graphic last week when I talked about the top free agent targets for this team. And I'm glad that one of my predictions came right. I understand that not all my predictions come right, but I try to do my very best. I listen to what's out there, and I try to connect the dots. And luckily, the dots, they connected for me here. So what I want you all to do, okay, so you don't miss anything the entire offseason, I want you to subscribe to the Raiders Report. I know we do a lot of rumors, and sometimes people don't like rumors. That's okay. But rumors are important to watch so you can connect the dots. One of the biggest reasons why I got the Nick Kwiatkoski prediction right is because I talked about it on the show. We connected dots with rumors, and now here it is. It's happening. And this is also the best time of the year to turn on the notifications because when something happens, that's when the show, honestly, is the most fun. I like doing shows for NFL Daily. I like doing stuff for the Raiders Report. But when I get to come live and I get to talk to Matt York, Charlie Furtis, Anthony Cortez, and all my Raider Nation live, man, that's why I get up in the morning. That's why the Go Bears not going to slow me down. I'm going to pump out content for you guys. So hit the subscribe button, take the link below that's in the comments, and turn on the notifications. Because free agency, it is going to be an absolute blast for this team because we still have needs at linebacker. We still have needs at wide receiver, cornerback, safety, heck, edge. We have needs at defense. This team needs to get better. But with, the cap being at around $50 million, 9th most, it could have even been 57 if my memory serves me correctly. But some other notable free agents, Daryl Worley, the Raiders already re-signed Jalen Richard, so he's already back on the team. Carl Joseph, he's deciding to go out there, so we'll get that graphic fixed for everyone. Jalen Richard was already re-signed to 2 years, $7 million, could make up to $8 million. But when I think about some of the players that are going to be gone, Daryl Worley, I don't expect him to be back. He's going to want to get paid. Joseph could be a player to come back if we get him to a 1-year deal. I think he might be the best bang for your buck safety out in the free agent market. I like Vontaze Burfict. He is a leader on this team. I don't anticipate him coming back. So who should the Raiders sign next? First thing y'all should do is go watch my top 25 free agent targets that the Raiders should sign because Kwiatkoski, he was on that list, and I really want them to bring in number 3 and number 1. And honestly, I think they might be able to bring in 3 and number 1. So if you haven't seen it already, go check it out. We'll give some shout-outs here. I'm seeing a Teddy B. Man, we don't want Teddy Bridgewater because you're going to have to pay Teddy Bridgewater. Honestly, you're definitely going to pay him more than what Derek Carr makes right now. So, that's point blank. If you want to pay Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater, that's up to you. I ain't doing it. So, I see Corey Littleton. A lot of Corey Littleton. Linval Joseph. That's an interesting one there from Jordan. Let's see. Schobert. Stephon Diggs, you'd have to trade for him. Byron Jones, Littleton, Blake Martinez. I personally don't want Blake Martinez. I think he's a little bit too one-dimensional. Somebody said, Mitch, put some Raiders stuff on. I'll make you a deal. Okay? Make you a deal. If we can hit, what is it, 40K subscribers by the end of this video, I'll throw on some Raiders stuff. Deal? I don't know what I'm at right now, but if we can get there, no, that might be a little bit too lofty of a goal. Okay? We're going to try. I'll go to the back. I'll tell the team, hey, throw me in a Raiders shirt. I'll put it on right over this one. Does that sound good? Continue to let me know who the Raiders should sign. Maybe I should get this shirt. I see a lot of people repping this one, and I do want to give some shout-outs to some of my friends who have already bought this on Tuesday. I'll be live tomorrow for some Raiders news and coverage. I'll put some people on the show that have bought this shirt. But if you want to get on the Raiders Report, I told anyone that buys Raiders Against the World, because this is the perfect shirt for the nation. Because I've talked to so many Raider fans that are like, it is us against everyone. And at first, I didn't really believe it. But I'm starting to come around it a little bit more. But this shirt's awesome. It is only $24.99. And the way that you're going to get it, I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description. But if you can't find it in the comments or description, just remember, it is chatsports.com/RaidersWorld. Go get yourself a shirt. Go rep the nation. All right, let's get into some comments now.